right, so let's just go ahead. Let me go ahead and share this couple spots. I want y'all to get this, man. I'm gonna keep it real. Hold up. Keep it a buck with you guys, man. I know some of y'all gonna feel some kind of way on this. I know some of y'all still ain't gonna get it, but I know some will. I know some of y'all will get it. It's just interesting to me, though. First of all, I know this microphone. I'm using a different mic, so it might not sound as clear as it should. And honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. Most of y'all don't deserve this. Y'all really don't, because I've been telling y'all this for well over a year now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started this Crypt Talk Podcast YouTube channel, my Facebook blockchain crypto gang. I started that because I wanted us specifically to not miss out on this way, this shift that is going on. It's a shift going on right now. Some people call it a wealth transfer. This is like oil, the oil boom. Imagine if you were in position to, even with very little money, with whatever you had, imagine if you were in a position to get into the oil boom when that oil boom happened. Imagine if you were in a position to get into the gold boom when it happened, because this is both of those times 100 with Bitcoin. And it's going to be hard for me to really explain everything that I'm saying in full clarity, because most of y'all don't have a grasp of the fundamentals. That's why I never told people to buy Bitcoin. I said, look into it, study it, check this out, look at blockchain technology. This is something that I was told by a billionaire, a black billionaire. Michael V. Roberts wrote a book called Action Has No Season. He said that black people need to look into blockchain technology. This is a billionaire giving financial advice. So, of course, I listened to what he said. And I didn't understand nothing about blockchain at first. And I put it on the back burner. Then I started looking into it. It led me to Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. Later for that, though. But it's going to be difficult to really explain. I want to share this a couple spots. And share this to some of these black like groups and shit. These black, you know, economic groups and all these woke groups. Share it. Because obviously I know people need it. And the reason why I know people need it is because I'm seeing all up on my timeline how everybody is, oh, the stimulus check, 600, please send that. I'm checking my phone every 10 seconds. And, oh, when I get it, I'm going to have $530. So I spent 70 on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know some of it's just jokes, it's cat, but I'm saying though, like, not fuck a 600 bucks. I would definitely take that six or that two or whatever it is. What I'm saying is, you wouldn't be so thirsty for it if you had been listening. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not even, I shouldn't even be wasting my time trying to put y'all on game right now. But I'm merciful and I want y'all to get it. That's how come I look at this video right here I made in 2019. Over a year ago, I made this video showing you some quotes from Nipsey Hussle, because I figured that if y'all saw Nipsey Hussle talking about crypto and Bitcoin, and you know how epically smart and what a hustler and grinder and how next level Nipsey was, I figured y'all might tap in. And I figured if people start tapping in, we can really start building wealth collectively, or even within your own crew and your own circle. If you understood what this shit was, you would understand why I keep on telling y'all, man, check this shit out. I'm obsessed with this shit, partly because it saved me. Period. It did. So I'm trying to show y'all something. And it's like, okay, if y'all don't want it, I can't make you take it, but I do know that some people do want it. I know some people in my personal life have very much benefited and been very grateful for the fact that I even introduced them to the idea of looking into Bitcoin. And that's how come people do actually pay me to consult with them, even on Zoom, people from across the world and across the country and in person. So, like, that's how epic this shit is. That's how beneficial this information is, and it doesn't require. Listen, I don't benefit personally, whether you get Bitcoin or not, or whether you get into crypto or not. It doesn't make a difference to me. My money doesn't go up or down based on what you do. I'm doing this for you. And I know that since a lot of these charlatans on YouTube and all these other little, social media and Facebook, they're all about bullshit and trying to sell you some bullshit that you don't really need. So you might look at what I'm saying is, oh, this nigga's trying to hustle and blah blah blah, but that's not the case. And it can't nobody ever say that I conned them at all. As long as I've been in this conscious community with the Black Guy Stand Radio since 2015, my YouTube channel since like 2009 when I started making videos, nobody in this community can say that Jay Dizzle conned them or swindled them at all. Quite contrary, they can only say that I have actually supported dozens and dozens of people. So I don't even understand how some people will look at me sideways like I'm trying to trick them into something. It's crazy. No one in my personal life I owe money to or I fucked over. I did find somebody. I'll give you a rack if you could find somebody that can legitimately say that I ripped them off. I'll give you a rack for that. You ain't gonna do it. It can't happen. I live by a code. So let me just show you this video real quick. Then I'm gonna get into some of these fundamentals and some of these things so you could just understand why. Because I was just having a conversation on Facebook a few hours ago, and this sister told me it was on a Ben X post because he's starting to inquire about Bitcoin. So I'm seeing that now that it's starting to mainstream. Now cats are jumping on the dick, but I've been, now instead of it's at like 31,000, all of a sudden people are like, oh wow, Bitcoin. I've been telling you this since it was 4,000. That means if you would have took that stimulus check, because when that first stimulus check hit, Bitcoin was around 3,800. I got the receipts. I'll show you in a minute. So that means if you would have took that 12 and put it into Bitcoin at that time, that would have been about 1/3 of a Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 31,000 now. That means you would have been over 10 racks right now in less than a year, just sitting on it. Even if you would just took half of that, you'd be at like 5 plus. Just think about that. Bitcoin has over doubled since November alone of 2020. Think about that. Listen, man, I'm not gonna keep doing this for y'all. If y'all don't want to get this, that's on you. But if you do, tap in the CryptTalk Podcast. I'll put the link in the description, or you can just look it up on YouTube. But I want to show y'all this right here. Peep game. All right, let's go. Nipsey Hussle and cryptocurrency. Maybe we should just go ahead and call him Cripsey Hustle for this one. So I'm gonna go into this XXL interview that he did just under a year ago, a month shy of a year ago. But first, what I want to do is I want to play some audio of Nipsey Hussle.
We walking toward is becoming wealthy to the level that it's not gonna go away, and that we created a situation that it lasts longer than us. What is money in 2017 going into 18? Is it paper? Is it agreed value? What makes something currency? So that was what the debate was, and everybody was revolving around that. That was the question. But just cryptocurrency is, I think it's like a form of karma. I think that the banks had such a crooked model that the engineers and software designers and programmers was like, we're not gonna fix this with a protest. We're not gonna fix this with a march on Wall Street. We're gonna fix this with technology.
Let me just kind of break down kind of what he's saying for those who just totally don't know. So what he's basically referring to is the fact that in 2008, 9-ish, there was that economic crisis that was brought about by the banks, right? And as a response, there was a money that was introduced by an anonymous person. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of history, but I don't really want to bog you down with too much. So that's when Bitcoin was created. Basically, it was created in an economic crisis for the purpose of being able to go past and around the banks and not having to go through the banks. So the protest, in this case for Bitcoin, and those who created Bitcoin and those early people who supported Bitcoin, who were programmers, basically, they were like, yo, let's make a money that you don't have to worry about a bank. You don't have to depend on a bank. It doesn't require permission. That's anonymous, that people can't hack it. You know what I'm saying? Basically, let's make a response for the people to be able to benefit and not have to go through the central banks. So I know a lot of the people in the woke community, you're aware of the Federal Reserve, and that the Federal Reserve isn't an actual federal institution. It's a private institution that they manipulate the money and they create the money and they print the money and the dollar's going down. That's all facts. The dollar goes down 2% a day off rip. That's called inflation. Every time they print more money, like these stimulus, it goes down even more. That's called hyperinflation. So the person I was speaking to on the Ben X comment or post was telling me that There's going to be a terrible financial year for 2021. So don't count on Bitcoin going up. Basically, what they were saying, not understanding that that's exactly why Bitcoin is going to go up. Just fundamentally, assets appreciate in value as the dollar goes down. That's just by default. In other words, if you have especially a scarce asset, that there's only a certain amount of these assets, and then you have something like fiat currency, which isn't backed by anything, and that they'll print anytime, and it has an unlimited supply that can be printed. Every time you print more money, the value goes down. So if the value goes down, that means by default assets go up. An easy way to understand this is just look at the cost of living in 1960, before the dollar was taken up the gold standard, and then look at the cost of living now. It's because they took the money off the gold standard, and then they printed more money that's not backed. So the value decreases by default. This is why I was telling y'all a long time, a few months ago, when all y'all woke, new age woke cast was talking about Donald Trump is going to take the money, put the money back on the gold standard. It's not. If you understood economics 101, you would know that he couldn't do that. Even if he wanted to, it's impossible to go back to the gold standard at this point. You can't print trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars for 40 plus years and then back it to a commodity like gold, which is finite, meaning there's only a certain amount of gold. The market cap or total value of all the gold mined at this point in time is around 8 trillion. The US doesn't own all of that. So they can only back as much as they own in gold. So when they print more money, the value goes down and it's not backed by gold. So there's no way he can bring it back to the gold standard. Nor did he even indicate he wanted to. I'm just saying those are just simple things. So if you understand that, you understand that with this new stimulus package coming on, just like the last one, just like the one in 2008, just like anytime they print money, with the new stimulus that they're going to print, they're going to put more money into circulation. And so by default, that brings the value of the dollar down, which means that assets, including Bitcoin, will go up. And that's why Bitcoin went to the moon this year. And I told you that would happen. I told you, like, look, they're about to print this money, take that stimulus. I'd like buy some stocks, buy some gold, buy some Bitcoin, look into cryptocurrency. I even showed y'all how to get free cryptocurrency. And people was looking at me like I was trying to scam them. People who've known me for years looked at me sideways like I was trying to scam them. I was showing them how to get $300. I made videos showing you the whole process. It's nothing. 300 plus bucks of different various cryptocurrencies. You could have just cashed it in. But really what I also told you is I said, look, no matter what, the little few $100 you can get for free just by watching these videos I'm going to show you, that's not even as valuable as the information. Fuck that $300, cash that out, whatever you do. That's nothing compared to what you're going to learn about cryptocurrency just by watching those videos. Then you'll understand, well, I'm all in on this shit. I don't even really hold too much fiat. I hold assets. I hold things that appreciate in value. And since Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is so liquid, meaning that you can liquidate it at any time, you can switch it around, change it, spend it, cash it out 24/7. You can't do that with stocks. But since Bitcoin, you can do that. Like, it could be 3 in the morning, and if I had no money in the bank, I can sell a little bit of my Bitcoin and it will be in my bank instantly. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, let's get back to Nip.
And they created a equalizer that just checkmated the whole game. You know,
I'm gonna take it back a little bit just so you get the context.
And they created the software designers and programmers was like, we're not gonna fix this with a protest. We're not gonna fix this with a march on Wall Street. We're gonna fix this with technology. And they created a equalizer that just checkmated the whole game. You know, that's my view on it. It's just like the energy balancing out what went wrong over there, and just the disadvantage that the people were at. The cryptocurrency is balancing that out, or will in the long run.
Now remember when he said this, I don't know when this interview was, but of course he's been gone for a minute, so it had to be before he transitioned, right? So he's saying that it was a balance, like the technology of this cryptocurrency that will balance out the disadvantage that we have. And that's a fact. And that's why I figured when I started telling people about this, you would have to jump on it if you just paid attention. Because that's exactly what it is. This cryptocurrency is a way to balance out the disadvantage that we have economically, that you have economically. How do I know this? Because I did it. I did it. I wasn't hurting during this 2020 pandemic, even when I wasn't working. Because at that point, I knew enough about this crypto shit that I was making flips and I was making sure I took my time to do things that I can do. So even if I was getting that little funky ass little unemployment, that wasn't nothing. But I was doing the right thing with it. I was stacking crypto away. I was doing other things to create more money on my own. I did that. And I actually leveled up during that time because as the economy goes down, like I said before, assets go up. Period. And I learned new different things. So like little bets that I do, you see me when I'm telling you when I start posting about this team or that team that I want to win or whatever, that's because I got a bet on it. And when I win those bets and I want to cash out, I have them send me Bitcoin. So if I cash out 1,000 in Bitcoin tomorrow from the bets from the football games, that 1,000 of Bitcoin will probably be 2,500 in a couple months just by sitting it there. And if I need to chip some off because I'm hurting or whatever, I could do that. But I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna keep that shit because I know Bitcoin is gonna be about 100,000 by the end of the year. And that's not just speculation. There's actual scientific methods and ways that you can kind of determine that, even though it's not guaranteed. But if you understood what was going on in the news, which is the kind of stuff that I report on CryptTalk Podcast, then you would understand why. Oh shit, you would already know why the shit was gonna go up like it did. Like it's been written. It just makes sense. Like if you understood that billionaires are buying crypto by the billions, that banks are now allowing people to hold crypto in the banks, whether the banks do it or not, lawfully now they can. If you understood the different laws that are coming into effect, and everybody's talking about how the dollar's going down and they're taking money off out of circle, yeah, you're right. That shouldn't worry you. That would be exciting to you if you was in position. And you should expect it anyway, because 90% of the money is already digital. It's not really dollar bills. If everybody went to go get dollar bills to go close their account and take the money out, that money ain't there. It's represented by digits. So that's why, man, let's go, man. Let's go.
Take a while, but it's gonna create an option, and you're not gonna have to go operate in that system that led to like 2008, all the banks collapsing and the real estate bubble and all the malpractice of power that was happening in the banking industry and the central banks and all that. So it's like, damn, that was slick. Whoever came up with that was slick. If you really peep it from a political point of view, you know what I mean? That was real effortless checkmate. You know what I mean? They exited before anybody knew what was up.
Yeah, still got bailed out.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. It's an interesting conversation. I've had it with some people, and some people are like stuck on money so much, and I'm like, man, money's not even backed by the gold system anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is it really worth? It's whatever we, want to put on it, but really it's just a piece of paper, just like a credit card, just a piece of plastic, and it's the inferred value that we put on it, and as long as everybody assumes that it's worth that, it is. But if somebody tomorrow's like, that's not worth shit, it's really not backed by anything. So it's like, why not try out a new currency?
It's a lot of reasons that, political reasons why it's a big thing, and it's financial reasons why it's a big thing, and even like on a simple level, like sending money overseas or something, to be able to do that peer-to-peer and not have no middleman with a fee, and with a policy, it's just a direct transaction that's, regulated by a public ledger. That's a big innovation if you understand like banking and PayPal and all that type of shit.
All right, let me just break down some of that. So what he's basically speaking about is remittance. Remittance is when people come from a different country and they send money home, like people in Mexico, people Philippines, whatever, Africa, whatever. They come here, work, send money back. Typically, you have to go through centralized financial institution. You have to go through MoneyGram or Western Union or something like that, and they charge a healthy penny. You know what I'm saying? Just to do that transaction for you to send money to a different country. And then it will also take hours and this and that, and you gotta do woo woo woo. However, MoneyGram and Western Union both use cryptocurrency to send that value. So they're doing it for free because the cryptocurrency that they use is called XRP, which is free to send any amount. You can send $1 billion, it ain't gonna cost you nothing, and it's gonna be there instantly. So that's what they use, but then they charge you to use that service that they're really doing that you could really do yourself. And that's what you're going to see more of happening as this thing gets bigger and it starts getting introduced into the economy. So understanding this now is going to benefit you in many ways, not just by holding the right cryptos and then it goes up like Bitcoin, but also just the things that you can do with it that's going to save you money and give the full power to you. So that's pretty much what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? So let's go.
You know, somebody told me that it's like what the internet was in like the early 90s, and think about what that turned into and all the billion-dollar businesses that was built off of that. That's like what the cryptocurrency, blockchain opportunity is similar to. So it'll take a while before we see it mature and really turn into what it can potentially be.
Currency, there's less than 1% penetration, and that's a fact because I can't spend Bitcoin here. I gotta still spend US dollars or MasterCard credit or, you know, established credit. Any one of these stores, there's no penetration in the real world. But there's a $27 to $800,000 increase in investment in this space, but there's a 1% penetration in the real world. So what happens when it gets 5% real world? When more people can spend their cryptocurrency at the store, at the restaurant, on the airplane, which is why we came to Amsterdam, because there's a city out here where the whole city is cryptocurrency friendly. And this is an example of what's gonna happen to the rest of the world.
So just to show you how prophetic he is, when he said that, keep in mind that Bitcoin, the percentage of people around the world who own any portion of Bitcoin is about 1.7%. That means only 1.7% of the world owns any amount of Bitcoin. Now, as this starts to get mainstream and pick up stream, now when he was speaking, he said it was less than 1%. Well, it's at 1.7 now. So as this gets more popular and all these institutions buy it by the billion, and now PayPal allows you to buy and sell cryptocurrency and use it for purchases with 26 million merchants that they have, over 350 million users that they have. As these things happen and continue to happen, these are the kind of stories I report on CryptTalk Podcast, by the way. As these things happen, now more people, now the number of people who are owning Bitcoin goes up by default. Supply and demand dictates that the price goes up. So it's still pretty early. That's why I'll even take my time right now, even though I know 99% of y'all ain't even gonna check this out and won't listen and won't even try to understand it, whatever the case may be. But for those who will, just understand that less than 2% of the world owns Bitcoin right now. And as these institutions keep buying it up, they're going to try to control the game because they couldn't stop it. They already tried. So since they couldn't stop it, now they just want to buy it all up, and then they'll rent it to y'all. And the proof that that's happening is some of the people who I do see speaking about crypto, they're telling me they have shares or stocks in it on Robinhood. That's not the same. That's the institution buying Bitcoin and then renting some to you, basically, and allowing you to take some of the profits when it increased instead of you being able to do it on your own. Because crypto was made so you don't need a bank. You don't need a Robinhood or anyone else to hold it on your behalf and take cuts of your profit. That's what's so epic about it. So that's what he's speaking about. And then when he said that, you know, the city he was in, I think in Sweden or wherever he's at, you could buy crypto anywhere, or you could buy things with crypto, blah, 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 which is a very rare thing. But Akon, Grammy winning artist Akon, is building a city in Africa, in Senegal right now with $6 billion. He's building a city and he's going to run the city economically on crypto, and he has his own coin called the A coin that he's doing it with. That's what's going on while you guys are bickering about Kamala Harris and thirsty for stimulus and gossiping about bullshit that you're not going to do anything about. You know what I'm saying? And ignoring the real shit. And you guys is worried about all these distractions, but you don't understand that during this whole election process, they've been putting in different laws and regulations for crypto and trying to create their own. Why? Because they know that crypto's about to fucking blow up and they don't want to miss their cut. Check your 1040 and see if you can find on the front page where it asks you if you have any cryptocurrency. because they don't want to lose that. They don't want to miss out on that money. And of course, if you do, you should say yes, especially if you bought it from a centralized exchange like Coinbase or something like that. But if you really knew how to really maneuver this shit, then nobody will ever know what you got. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. But let me continue, man. But that's next level shit. I can't give you that spill if you don't understand the fundamentals of this. You know what I'm saying? I can't hold your hand through the whole thing, but I do got, I made it through the maze, and I'm trying to leave clues, and that's what CryptTalk Podcast is.
And we think that if you get in now, when the value spreads, when the accessibility spreads, you'll be sitting on the right chair. And, being out here further brought that to my attention, reinforced my belief in it, and we put our money where our mouth is.
Yep, exactly what I did. So that's a video that I did, and I shared this video all around Twitter and Facebook and my main YouTube channel before it got cut down. So I put this out here, and I ain't gonna lie, part of the reason why I continue to go ahead and put this spill out there, even though I really just concentrated mostly for my YouTube channel, because people actually get it, or they're trying to get it, and then they even show love and appreciation when they get it, because it might change their financial situation so much that they'll hit me up with $100. They'll send me some crypto. They'll hit my Cash App up. They'll send me gifts. What's your address? I want to send you something. Yeah, from all around the world, because this is practical shit that really will actually have an effect. So it's like, with all the different things that we speak about as a community, and we know that economics is one of the things that we need to get any of this stuff off. Like, this is something that's so epic, and it's not just about the value of Bitcoin going up. It's about the principles of what crypto is, what you can do with it, how anonymous it can be, how you can use it without permission, how you can do 24/7 whatever you want to do, how there's different protocols that you can earn, that you can stake in order to get 6% APR when your bank's giving you 1/4%. Like, there's so much things you can do that you don't need a bank. You don't need a bank. Really, you really don't. I still have a bank, and I leverage it for credit and other things like that. But you really don't need a bank at this point. That's why the 2 billion people that are underbanked can benefit the most from this crypto. But anyway, let me show you guys some other things, man. This right here is an interview I did on my channel back in June with a brother named Isaiah Jackson, who wrote a book called Bitcoin in Black America. Good brother. We went through a lot of different stuff, and his book is dope. I haven't finished it, but listen, this is just me showing you that there are some of us that are getting into it, and this is what I was really trying to do with it. But I can't cast pearls to swine if y'all don't want to get this. But let me show you something else. I told you I was going to show you receipts about the price of Bitcoin over the last year. So you can see right here, March 12th, Bitcoin prices plunged 39%, and it hit a low of 38,000. So the reason, 3,800, excuse me. The reason why that happened is because when all of the economy crashed, all the big billionaires that own Bitcoin dumped it because they thought the stock market crashed. So blah, blah, whatever. It went all the way down to 38. So what I'm saying is that's about the time the stimulus check hit. So even if you didn't get the stimulus then, if you would have got it anywhere within a month or two, you still would have been, you would have, if you would have got it at that price right there at 38, you'd be at over 10 racks right now with that 1,200. You'd be at over 10 racks right now, even if you didn't get it then and you got it when it popped back up, because it did pop back up pretty quickly. If you would have got it even when it was like 7,000, you would still be 4.5 times your money. So you would still be at about over 5 racks. You'd be up. And then if you would have listened when I was telling you about how you can get free crypto, and you didn't think I was trying to rip you off, you would have used that and flipped it. Plus, you would have learned so much more about the crypto that you probably would have learned some other moves you could have made. You'd be all right right now. You damn sure wouldn't be thirsty for no damn $600. No disrespect if you are. I get it. Times are rough, but at this point, it's a choice that you're making. If you're really hurting right now, because I was broke than a motherfucker, to tell you the truth. When I first started learning about this shit, I was broke as a motherfucker, man. Real talk. I was on some scraping up change to buy a fucking Black and Mild. You feel me? That's what I was on a quarter tank of gas type of shit. So I know y'all, a lot of y'all was in better situation than that. But I know I done lapped a lot of y'all, and that's a fact. And this ain't no flex. This ain't no cap. This is just real shit that I'm hoping that you guys get. You know what I'm saying? So boom. Didn't understand little stuff like this. I'm not gonna really get too deep into this because it's gonna go over a lot of people's head. But Bitcoin supply squeeze. Okay, so Bitcoin, there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin. Okay, it's not like money. There's only a certain amount. There's only a certain amount. That's the bad news. The good news is it will continue to be mined or created for about 100 years because it's been programmed like that. So it's not necessarily too late to get into it, but now we got to get back to something that's a challenge, and that challenge is that Grayscale, which is a large investment fund, is buying up 3 times the Bitcoin mine. So they're buying up Bitcoin faster than it's being mined. So what that means is that all these big ass corporations, Square, who owns Cash App and Twitter, and not PayPal, something else, Square Cash, yeah, Square, whatever. Yeah, they're buying Bitcoin up like crazy. You got PayPal that recently allowed Bitcoin to be bought and used on their platform. Just that alone, they're buying it faster than it's being mined. So now you have it getting super scarce, which brings the price up, and you have large institutions buying it up by the billions. Grayscale right here, they own 19 billion in crypto, mostly Bitcoin. 19 billion. MicroStrategies, they own billions. Massachusetts Mutual bought hundreds of millions. So this is what you have happening. These are just the ones that are telling you that they're doing it. A lot of these cats ain't telling you yet. So that makes it more scarce. That's why it continues to go up. And that's why if it went from as low as 3,800 last year to 31,000 right now, and we're talking about in 9 months, 10x, yes, this year it's gonna probably at least, and this is conservatively speaking, it's gonna at least triple. It's going to be at 100. And then there's other coins that's gonna flip more than that are cheaper, blah blah. But if you don't know Bitcoin, I wouldn't suggest you get into any of that. And there's different things that are being built right now. And here's the cold part of the game. As these things come out, they're going to come out with things that you could do right now that they're going to charge you a lot to do. They're going to introduce things, and then they're going to put on the mainstream as they've been doing it. And I've been saying they're going to do this for over a year now. And then they're going to introduce things to people, to noobs who didn't pay attention in the beginning, who are now going to think they got some lit shit they can do, but really, they ain't really getting the full benefits. I'm talking about people who own stocks in Bitcoin. Why the hell would you own a stock in Bitcoin when you could just own Bitcoin? That doesn't make sense. Why would you own a stock in a cryptocurrency where you could just own the shit? Feel me? But they're going to offer different products and services, and they're going to come out with their own cryptos, which every major nation is working on right now. So you got some of y'all are on that woke, there's the New World Order shit. Yeah, it is. And you're scared because you ain't ready. New World Order. We want a New World Order. Don't we do? Is the world order right now good for us? No. So we want a New World Order, especially if we can get ahead of the game and take advantage of the things that are going on. Being poor is a fucking choice right now. Kanye said slavery was a choice. Nah. But being broke is. Or staying broke is. Let me see this right here. So here's some more, and I'm gonna report on this on my podcast later. But after institutional investors hoard, just 22% of Bitcoin is left for traders. That's how much these institutions are buying up this shit right now. Now think about it. Why are these damn banks and these investment funds and all these other major corporations going ham on Bitcoin right now? What do they know or suspect about Bitcoin that's making them put? You got to think about it. A company that will take 16 billion and put it in crypto must think for some reason that shit is gonna skyrocket. They ain't just doing it for no reason. These are the same type of companies like JP Morgan Chase who was talking shit about Bitcoin. It's not gonna work, but some of that was just cap because they knew that they were afraid of the fact that the monopoly that the central bank has on the creation and distribution of fiat currency that we call the dollar, that monopoly was in danger with Bitcoin on the scene. But they realized they couldn't fucking stop it after it got to where it got. So now they're like, oh, if we can't beat them, we're just going to buy it all up, and we're going to control that just like we control the money, and therefore we'll control what you buy it for and what you could do with it and when you could do it and blah, blah, blah. And that's what we see happening right now. So some of y'all are going to be behind in the game, And that's what I feared, and that's why I started trying to let y'all know about this shit. It wasn't for my benefit, it was for yours. So we don't get left behind in another wealth distribution and then start complaining about not having no money and not having no power, and then start crying and begging for little ass jobs and bullshit, and celebrating a $600 stimulus, thirsty for the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it's your fault at this point if you're on that. That's what I'm saying. So I ain't y'all peeping game to what's going on with this shit. How can y'all be on social media all day and not and talk about your conscious, and you want to tell me about a pyramid that was built 3,000 years ago? I already know about all that. I'm Nettercat, remember? I know about that. There's no woke conversation that you can have with me that I can't run probably circles around y'all. Real shit. So now I'm telling you, this is what it is. Learn this shit right here. All that other shit, that's cool. That should have gave you the confidence to know just how epic you are. Now it's time to make epic fucking moves. And that means doing things ahead of the game. Not telling me about a conspiracy 10 years after the fucking fact. I don't need you to tell me the Twin Towers were not brought down by, I don't need none of that. I know that, and there's nothing that information is gonna do to change your fucking life. Get ahead of the game with this shit. Understand that all that woke shit we spoke was supposed to only put you in position to mentally be prepared to do shit that would be the next pyramids for the new millennium to come. That's what we're supposed to be building right now. We're not supposed to be rubbing our dicks about how great we were in the past. What we're supposed to do is take that and understand why what we build right now will be looked at 10 times greater than what we did back then. And if you ain't ahead of the curve on things and you ain't trying to amass wealth, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to start ripping too much, y'all, man. But I'm just saying, like, get in the game, man. Understand what the fuck this is. And I think I've been going for 40 minutes. That's ridiculous. Y'all don't deserve this, but I'm merciful, so I gave it to you anyway. Subscribe to CryptTalk Podcast. Check out Blockchain Crypto Game. Understand and learn this shit. So that way, when you learn about the shit, you could double back to me, and we could build on some shit. That way, I don't have to just be out there balling out a motherfucking control by my damn self. You know what I'm saying? I want some company when this happens. So get on some real shit. Then holler at a nigga.